Hello, and thank you for joining us for our webinar today with Bluehost. This webinar is titled WordPress Wonders, Navigating the Fast Track to Success. My name is Dara. I am the social media coordinator for Locology, and I will be your host for today's event. We've got a couple housekeeping items before we begin. This webinar is being recorded and will be circulated to all attendees with the presentation within 24 hours of the broadcast. Questions will be answered during the Q&A session at the end. You can, however, use the chat box and ask questions at any time during the broadcast. Our speaker today is Jocelyn Hendrickson. She's the Senior Product Manager at Bluehost. Without further ado, I'm going to toss this over to our analyst, Charles, to get us started. Thanks, Charles.
Thank you, Dara. Thanks, everyone, for joining today. We're excited about this webinar. I'm just going to hand it over to Jocelyn in a second and let her give her presentation, but I'll just make a couple comments. We will have a Q&A session at the end. We'll also have some back and forth during the webinar. So if you have a question, as Dara mentioned, type it into the question box. I'm monitoring those. We'll ask them as they come up, or wait till the end and enter your question during the Q&A portion of this conversation. Either way is fine, but we want this to be interactive. Jocelyn, you want to get started?
Hey, Charles. Yeah, thank you so much for having me. So again, like Dara mentioned, the title of this presentation is WordPress Wonders, Navigating the Fast Track to Success. My name's Jocelyn Hendrickson, and I'm a Senior Product Manager working for Bluehost, which is one of the brands that is part of the Newfold digital suite of hosting providers. And my responsibility is focused on commerce for WordPress specifically. So I'm dedicated to building products that really revolutionize the way businesses succeed in the digital world. And I'm fueled by my passion for the intersection of design, technology, and user experience. So today we're going to be talking about building a strong online presence for small businesses with WordPress and the success you can find there. So creating an online presence is essential in today's digital era, especially for the success of small businesses. With more consumers turning to the internet and online to find products and services that they need, having a professional website has become a cornerstone of credibility and trust. So WordPress is a powerful content management system that offers businesses a cost-effective and customizable tool to build their online identity. Being online really has so many advantages for small businesses. It'll increase your visibility, helps you to establish your credibility in your community and online as a business. It allows you to have cost-effective marketing, especially across different channels such as social media, Google, web searches. It gives you a competitive advantage, especially as a small business, where if you're online, you can be found, and especially if your competitors are not online, you really can get the edge up of being online and being found super easily at the fingertips of anyone around you. Being online and being social and active really improves the customer engagement, and users are more likely to be satisfied with you and your reputation as a business when you're found online, when you're active online, and it really helps to have better customer service when you're available and reachable. So being online and having a powerful online presence kind of begs the question of what WordPress or Bluehost have to do with having a successful online business. So let's first talk about WordPress. WordPress is a popular and user-friendly content management system, or CMS as you'll see it in places, that allows you to create and manage your websites without needing to code. So it was first released in 2003 by Matt Mullenweg and Mike Little. And initially it was mainly used for blogging, and today it's become the most popular CMS on the web, with over 40% of all websites built on its platform. 63% of all websites built with a CMS are on WordPress, and 30% of the world's top 10,000 most popular websites use WordPress. So in fact, that makes it so 43% of all websites in the world are built and powered by WordPress. So the difference between Bluehost and WordPress is the software that you are going to use for designing, creating, and managing the content of your website. It'll provide the tools and the interfaces to customize your site's look and functionality, while Bluehost is going to be the service that stores your website's files and makes it available online. We offer the server space, domain registration, and other essential services for having a website and hosting online. So the way they work together is when you want to create a WordPress website, you can sign up for a plan with Bluehost or any other host for that matter. And once you have a hosting plan, WordPress is installed for your site. Bluehost will auto install WordPress for you. And the integration of the two together really allows you to use the power and flexibility of WordPress to design and manage the website, while your host and Bluehost will ensure that your website is accessible to visitors on the internet and that you're online and can be found. So what makes WordPress so wonderful? So first off, it's super easy to use. It's one of the key strengths is that it's a user-friendly interface and has really intuitive dashboards that allow even those with really limited technical expertise to manage their content, add new pages, add new blog posts, and update information super easily. It's customizable, and WordPress offers an extensive library of themes and plugins, which we'll talk about here in a minute, that allow you to have a really personalized and unique look and feel. And this functionality and this flexibility ensures that your website is tailored to match your unique brand identity and your business requirements. Using WordPress is really cost effective. Small businesses often operate on tight budgets, and WordPress addresses this challenge by offering a cost-effective solution because the core software is free, and there are many free and premium paid-for themes and plugins that are available to you. And so it really makes it accessible to businesses of all shapes and sizes. WordPress is open source, which means it's free to use and modify. Again, it makes it really affordable since it is free and it's accessible to anybody, and has a large community of WordPress developers and contributors that are constantly working to improve the platform and make it even better. And next, one of the last and really important things for small businesses is that it's SEO friendly. SEO is your search engine optimization. It's what allows people to find you online and allows your pages and posts to be ranked higher in searches. And WordPress is inherently SEO friendly, incorporating features like clean code, customizable permalinks, and plugins such as Yoast SEO, which assist in really optimizing content for search engines.
Hey, Jocelyn, Charles here. I had a very quick question. You mentioned open source. You said it's free, et cetera. Could you just say just a little bit more about what open source means? I think it's a phrase that people see and often don't know exactly what it means. And why is it such an advantage for WordPress?
Yeah, that's a great question. So proprietary software is typically developed and owned by specific companies or individuals and is protected by copyright laws. And oftentimes it's what you see is what you get. There's not really you can't really make changes to it. It's owned by that corporation or whoever has the copyrights to it. And the source code is not available to public. It can't be modified or distributed. You know, you'll often see like those licenses that you have to be able to use, and all the user agreements and everything that talk about the distribution and licenses. On the other hand, the open source software, it's freely available to the public, and the source code can be accessed, modified, and distributed by anybody. And so why that makes it an advantage is that WordPress, if there's core WordPress, which is out of the box, that's the files, that's what's there. And if there are changes that you'd like to make, if there's something that's not meeting your business requirements, whether yourself, if you're a developer, or you can hire a developer, you can access that code. You can make pull requests, code changes, and completely customize it with the code. Like there's no secrets about it. It's available and anybody can see it.
Right. Great.
Does that help clear it up?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a great question. So I mentioned earlier, WordPress has thousands of themes that are both free and paid premium that are available. So when you talk about WordPress themes, we're talking about the pre-designed templates that really determine the look and feel of your website. And for small businesses, having a visually appealing and functional website is super critical for both businesses and individuals. So WordPress themes stand out as really, if you think about building a house, it's the foundation to your website. So this kind of is everything that you are building your site upon. So whether you're creating a personal blog, an e-commerce store, or a corporate website, there's a theme that is available and will meet your needs and really hit your vision. So here I'm just highlighting a couple of examples of themes that are available. You can see there's clothing, you can see kind of just blogs, you can see this really strong hero image with the header. There's so many themes that are available. You can just go to the repository and search really any term, restaurant, food blogger, clothing, whatever it is, those are available for you. The other great thing is that WordPress themes are designed with mobile responsiveness in mind. And so what that means is that your site will seamlessly adapt to different devices. So whether you're on a laptop or on an iPhone or on a tablet, then your website is going to change and adapt, and you can craft the website that not only captivates your audience visually, but also functions seamlessly. So that's really exciting. And on top of WordPress themes, I want to talk about the full site editing, or you'll see it sometimes referred to as Gutenberg, but WordPress is continually evolving, and one of the most exciting advancements in recent years is full site editing. With full site editing, you can customize your website, including your headers, your footers, page templates, global styles, and more, without having any coding experience at all. So we talked about the theme being kind of the foundation to your home. Using the full site editing with the block-based themes, it's like being able to add walls, windows, doors, etc. to your house without needing to hire a builder. So in my opinion, this new approach has opened up a world of possibilities for website design and development, and has really given users more flexibility and control over their website's design, and made it easier to create custom, unique layouts than ever before without having to rely on a developer or a designer. Now, I mentioned a term a minute ago. I said block-based themes. So with full site editing, there's this, I don't know, there's these blocks, patterns, and templates that are now available. And these allow you to add on top of both the themes and the full site editing. So with a little bit of imagination and experimentation with these, anyone can produce a unique and engaging online experience with these tools. So we'll first start about talking about WordPress blocks. So when you look at a website, every website has components of them, whether it's a large image called the hero image, or you have your headings, your media, or maybe it's just writing. These are all the components that make up a website page or a post or blog in WordPress. So it's really easy to use. If you want to add an image, you would just search up for a media block. If you want to add a paragraph, you just add in a paragraph block. And all of these blocks can be customized, whether it's the size or the color or the layout. I have different columns here. And what's really great is that I can jump in here, and if I were to just click into any of this text, I can just write it as though you're kind of writing on a Word document or a Google Doc. With the intuitive drag and drop interface, it makes it super easy to create beautiful, responsive layouts. You can rearrange things and really put together the pages or posts that meet the needs of your business or fit your brand identity. I think that the other cool thing is that they're really modular, which means you can really mix and match them to create virtually any type of content you want. So for example, I have this media followed by, I can add this paragraph over here. I can add a portfolio gallery to showcase my products or services. And then they're fully capable or compatible with the WordPress editor. So You can use them to create content in any language, add multimedia like audio and video for podcasts or YouTube videos, and they're optimized for search engines, making it easier for your website to rank high in search engine results as well. Now, adding on to that, the next kind of level of putting the page together is there are WordPress patterns that are pre-designed combination of those blocks we just talked about that allow you to create more complex layouts. For example, your pattern might include a header block, a few columns of text, an image gallery, all arranged in a specific way. And these patterns can be created by users or downloaded from the WordPress community, making it easy to find patterns and designs that work well for your website. So it's a great way to save time and effort when designing, and instead of starting from scratch on a blank page, which for me is one of the most intimidating things when I'm creating a presentation or a blog or a web page, is seeing that blank screen is really intimidating and it's kind of hard to know where to start. And with these patterns, you can kind of go in and select what's there. There's a lot of core WordPress patterns that are available that have been published. And then again, because of the open source technology, is that for example, Bluehost, we have our Wonder blocks, and we have so many different types. There's heroes, footers, section headings, call to actions, pricing tables, and you can just go in and there's a ton of different options that are available for you to choose from. And then from there, I have this, pattern that I've inserted as an example, and I can just click the image of the t-shirts, and maybe I'm trying to feature watches or wallets or something like that. I can easily click the picture, replace it, upload it with my own content, and change that as well.
Hey, Jocelyn, you've described
Yeah,
an
love
easy to
that.
use process here. How would you describe the level of aptitude and individual needs just to get started on WordPress and build a website from that blank page? I don't know how you would describe that.
Yeah, that's a really good question and call out. So you honestly, with the way that WordPress is and the way that a lot of companies are really diving into both AI and the technology of full site editing, you can jump in, answer a few questions. Bluehost has an onboarding experience, and I'll kind of highlight it here with this pictures where you're kind of asked what your experience level is, and if you've never used it before, you're given a little bit further instruction and kind of walked through things. You'll be asked about your business, what you're trying to accomplish. And so for this example, I said that I was a retail store for clothing, and this pattern that you're seeing is actually generated by AI based on my answers that I've input. So if I were to answer that maybe I was an artist, then instead of seeing clothing here, you might see paint or paintbrushes. Or if I was a photographer, you would see things that are related to photography. And what's great is that because they're all put together ahead of time, when you're jumping into these patterns or into the layouts, number one, they're already put together, right? So you can just go, oh, hey, I really like this layout or that layout. Number two is that they are designed with your business in mind. And obviously we don't know all of your business models or requirements or details, but with a few answers, you tell us what your website name is, etc. We fill that all in. And so it's a matter of like, if you know your business and you know your images, you know what you want to have on there, it's a matter of like find and replace kind of, just click in, type it out, or replace an image. So for me, the aptitude, I mean, you never have had to build a website at all to be able to jump in and design something and publish it to the world.
And you mentioned AI, which of course is going to come up at some point in this conversation.
Yeah.
How does AI shorten the learning curve or make it just easier? I mean, a few examples maybe. You mentioned like AI created the image. I imagine before AI was doing that, there's an image library that you had to sort through, right? Or you could explain better than I how it worked before. But how has AI made the aptitude? Has it changed at all the aptitude level required to build websites? Is it making this more accessible to less adept people, I guess, to put it awkwardly. Could you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I think so. So kind of before, we talked about like themes, and how themes were built is if I wanted to create a theme, I would maybe design one with largely one specific use case. There's some that are kind of one size fits all, but I would have kind of pre-inserted pictures, like you can see here, this clothing picture is reinserted, but that wouldn't really be dynamic. With AI, things are a lot more dynamic and things are available. And for your media, for example, for me to go and add images, I'd have to have all my images available or go search for them or take the pictures. But for this, if the picture I'm seeing there kind of matches, I don't have to have that readily available, or I feel like it gives me more of creative inspiration. That's like, oh, that's really close. And now I know what picture I need to go take, or I need to find what picture I need to, go search for. I have some ideas.
Right.
And I think that it's really helped because it gives you everything that you need. It gives you the layout. It gives you that inspiration to be able to just go in and just pick and choose and rearrange versus starting really from a blank slate, which again, I think is the most intimidating thing. So,
Right.
and there's a lot of changes with AI. You see a lot of things like you can click into text and you can say, regenerate this for me, rewrite this for me, lengthen this, shorten this, make it more fun, more formal, etc.
Mhm.
And so, and whether or not you decide to use that and publish it or use it as a baseline, I think it just makes it so much more accessible for really anybody. I mean, my kids, I've kind of shown them our products before, and my daughter, who's 14, she goes, I think I could even build a website. This is super easy. She's never done that before.
I was gonna use the 5-year-old or grandmother as the sort of, could your grandmother do this? Could your
Yeah,
clearly your 14-year-old could do this. I kind of assumed that, but okay, thanks. That's great.
yeah, of course. So building off of patterns, the next part that I wanted to talk about is the WordPress templates. So WordPress templates are collections of blocks and patterns that are used to create entire pages or posts, where before the pattern that I was showing you is just one section, and this is multiple different patterns. So again, this is AI that was used based on some answers that I put in to build out this full page. And this was like a legal kind of page or whatever that was built into there. So, if you might want to create a template for your blog post that includes a header block, a few paragraphs of text, an image, call to action, create a new blog post, you simply apply the template and you can set it to be global. You can choose which pages to use. Or when you're creating a new page, you say, I have this other template. I want my blog template. You can use that and then go fill out all the information because you already have that layout in mind. So they just make the process of creating new pages and posts much simpler as they're pre-designed. Again, you don't really need to have that design eye or that experience with coding or development to be able to do it. It also gives you a consistent structure to make sure that your pages and posts have a similar look and feel, helping you maintain a consistent brand image. So again, on top of the time saving, starting from scratch, that intimidating page or post, it saves you a lot of time, especially you can create a lot of content on your site if you're often publishing. So they're a really valuable tool, in my opinion, for anybody looking to create and establish that really professional online, my words are blanking because I hear my kids, sorry. Just your online presence. So the next thing that I'll talk about are WordPress plugins, which I mentioned before. And really these serve as apps for your site that provide specialized features and functionality. So there's thousands of plugins also available. There's either free or paid, and they really just are, you think about your phone and you think, oh, I have this thing that I want to do, or you go to even restaurants these days and they say, download our app to do this. That's kind of like what it is. So whether you want to have SEO optimization, social media integration, maybe like a menu, booking services, then the plugins are what allow you to fulfill your goals. So there's a few things you want to look for when you're looking at plugins. You want to check that the plugins have high ratings by the community, they have positive reviews, that they are compatible with both your theme, your version of WordPress, and other plugins you have on your site, and that they are regularly maintained and updated by the developer who created them. So WooCommerce is an example of a plugin that, where my focus is on commerce that I'd like to highlight. So WooCommerce is a powerful and versatile e-commerce solution that can be used by businesses of all size. So whether you're a small startup or a large corporation, it can help you build and manage your online store with ease. And one of the great things about WooCommerce is its flexibility. So it's built on top of WordPress, which means that it's open source as well, and it's highly customizable, tailored to meet the unique needs of your business. And then WooCommerce itself also has plugins and extensions. So I was mentioning before, maybe bookings or services. Maybe you want to add a wish list to your online store. So it's kind of plugins on a plugin. Then they refer to them as extensions. So it really allows you to grow your website, add the features and functionality that you're looking for. WooCommerce is also really easy to use. You don't need to be a developer or have technical expertise to get started. It has an intuitive interface that allows you to quickly add products and set up your store and manage your orders and customers. WooCommerce is also affordable, so it's free. It's free to download and install on top of your WordPress website, which makes it, again, an ideal choice for businesses that are just starting out or may have a limited budget.
Hey, Jocelyn, I'm just curious.
Yeah.
A lot of small businesses, when they think, oh, I need to add a store, they think Shopify first. Can you do a quick versus Shopify versus WooCommerce from an SMB's perspective? What's the major advantage for WooCommerce other than what you've just noted?
Yeah, so again, it's a free plugin. So there's the cost savings, and with it being customizable and flexible, as I mentioned before. But I think in comparison to Shopify, WooCommerce really offers more control over the online store. So you have complete control over your website and your data, whereas Shopify is a hosted proprietary platform that limits the level of control you have on their store. And I think that the costs really start adding up on Shopify pretty quickly. They have a lot of apps, they have a lot of extensions that are available, but oftentimes it's, $30 per month for this, $30 per month for
Right.
this. And they do have free stuff as well. WooCommerce has a mix of both free and premium plugins that are oftentimes billed annually. And to be honest, I don't know Shopify's full monthly versus
Right.
annual
I think
models,
I don't
but
think there's much free on Shopify, but
yeah,
I don't know.
no, but really, I think one of the biggest things is that you own your content, whereas on Shopify or other places like that, you don't own it. They kind of own that. With WooCommerce, you can download, you can take your data, you have full control, and especially with it being open source, you're not limited to what's available commercially. You're kind of limited by your own imagination and resources rather. And if you need changes that need to be made, they can be made. I don't know. I hope does that help answer and give you an idea? I'll hope so, or that you lost your audio. So a couple highlights. WooCommerce has over 270 million plus downloads to date. There's over 4 million live websites. They power 33% of the top 1 million online stores. They have over 908 products in the marketplace, so they're extensions and other companies that build WooCommerce plugins. I mean, there are so many out there, and it's also available in over 66 different languages. So the next great thing about WordPress is its security and updates. So WordPress takes security really seriously. It provides features like the regular security updates, secure login options, and the ability to add additional security plugins. So The regular updates are not just about the security, they also bring performance improvements and new features. So it's crucial to stay updated to ensure your website functions optimally and takes advantage of the latest advancements in web technology. They've got robust core security. They have a dedicated security team that actively works to improve the platform security, and it's, again, regularly audited, and security vulnerabilities are promptly patched. There's automatic background updates that for any minor releases that happen, WordPress automatically updates to ensure all websites have the latest security fixes without site owners needing to take any action. They've got secure user authentication using secure password hashing algorithms to protect user passwords. And there's also two-factor authentication options that are available to add an additional layer of security for user accounts. There's extensive community support of developers and users that actively participate in forums and discussions, sharing security best practices and solutions. And for any plugin and theme that is uploaded, WordPress reviews and vets all these plugins and themes before they're added to the official repository and ensure that they meet security standards. The regular updates for plugins and themes are also highly encouraged to make sure the vulnerabilities are patched promptly. And then WordPress supports SSL certificates, allowing websites to encrypt data transmission between the user browser and server, ensuring secure communication. Oh, and again with this, the WordPress project has a security team, and they really, like I said, they take security extremely serious. Most about what you hear about WordPress, there's been comments before of maybe hearing that WordPress isn't secure or things like that, but most of those comments aren't about WordPress itself, but actually about themes or plugins from different authors that may have vulnerabilities. And most of those authors also take security seriously as well and release patches quickly. In order for your site to not continue to be vulnerable, you have to make sure that you have the latest updates of both your themes, your version, and core software. And this is why Bluehost, we enable auto updates by default for all themes and plugins that are added, as well as the core WordPress. And then you can further mitigate any risk by working with a host that also has a web application firewall and WAF rules in place that helps you protect your site from malicious actors before the threat may even be publicly known. The next great thing I want to highlight about WordPress is the WordPress community. So WordPress has a large and very active community of developers, designers, and users. This community support is invaluable. You're able to find answers to questions, access tutorials, and even hire professionals to get custom development work done, all thanks to the WordPress community. Really, it's comprised of individuals, businesses, organizations who all have a passion for WordPress. And it's really incredible to see the WordPress community in action. So there's a few different ways to get involved with the WordPress community that I want to highlight. So the first thing that I will go over is the meetups. So WordPress meetups allow locals to get together and learn from each other on how to use WordPress. There are formal WordPress meetups and informal ones covering nothing but WordPress or including WordPress as part of other topics on web publishing and social media. They can be held monthly or quarterly. There are WordPress meetup groups that are on meetup.com, and there's a map of all the places where there are WordPress events and activities and where ones are wanted. So you can browse the list of places hosting WordPress events and go directly to your region to find out whether one is or who might be interested in putting one together. The next thing is the WordCamps. So WordCamps are a series of community organized events that are focused on WordPress. And these events really bring together people from all walks of life who share a common interest in WordPress platforms. So WordCamps are typically held over 2 or 3 days and feature a wide variety of talks, workshops, and networking opportunities. There are also individuals and businesses who sponsor these WordCamps that are available for help and for engaging with and interacting with at the WordCamps. And one of the great things I think about WordCamps is that they're organized by the community for the community. So this really means that anybody can get involved in organizing a WordCamp in their local area. Whether you're developer, designer, blogger, maybe you're just somebody who loves to organize and to plan things, you're just passionate about being online or WordPress, there's a place for you at WordCamp. So if you ever have the chance to go to WordCamps, it's really a huge opportunity to meet and learn from some of the most talented and knowledgeable people in the community. And you'll have a chance to make new friends and connections and share your own experiences and expertise with others. So this last year, for example, I've been lucky enough to go to the WordCamp US, which was held in Maryland, WordCamp Asia, that was in Thailand, and WordCamp Europe, which was in Greece. Just really incredible experiences there. Anybody can contribute. You can join the Make WordPress org channel on Slack and get active in conversations and browse through various other channels that are available as well. And you can contribute to the open source project. So if you're a developer or somebody who wants to make your own plugins or themes, or even if you're a photographer and you want to submit your photography for Openverse, which is a repository of images that are available, you can contribute and share that there as well. And then there's a lot of podcasts that are out there that talk about WordPress and have people from the WordPress community coming together to share their knowledge and expertise as well.
Hey, Jocelyn. First of all, you should launch one of those podcasts. And then I had no idea this community was this extensive. Is this mostly freelancers building WordPress sites for people, or what's the sort of plurality of membership in the community come from?
Oh my gosh, that's a good question. Okay, number one, thank you for encouraging me to start a podcast.
I meant that.
That'd be fun. Thank you. Seriously, people who are at the WordPress community are everybody. And so my first WordCamp was WordCamp Asia this year in Thailand, and I was really nervous of, am I going to fit in, or what's my involvement here? But there's a wide range of people that are there. So there's individuals who build themes and plugins. There are businesses, so you'll see like Bluehost will be there, GoDaddy will be there. You'll have a ton of businesses that are there that are promoting either their hosting services or their plugins. There's developers. There are a ton of, and the other thing is too, is like the diversity that's there. So I talked a little bit before about how it's a few days filled with talks, or there are workshops, and these talks range from anywhere from, being like a woman in the WordPress community, or, how I first built my first website, to like some serious, like, here's how to use Postgres and other coding terminology I'm not even going to try to talk about, that are going to not be in my realm, that may be interesting. So really, it's a huge, diverse community. And actually in WordCamp US this year, they even had like kind of a kids camp. So people had their kids there and they had kid activities, and there's people who are creating kid camp events as well. So they're getting younger children involved. So really, like, the WordPress community, there's really not one word for it, I don't think, other than community, right? It's
I mean,
so many
it sounds
different
like one.
people from walks of
Do you know
life.
how big it is? I don't mean to put you on the spot for a number there, but are these millions? Are these tens of thousands? Do you have any sense of how big this community is? It may be hard to define. I don't know.
Oh my gosh, I think that it's interesting question. I would probably say it's tens of thousands. I don't know. I don't have a count, but I mean, for example, WordCamp US, there was over 2,000 people that attended in Maryland at the conference.
That gives me a sense. And if assuming it's not the same people going to every single event, I'm going to guess that this is a multi-thousand community worldwide.
Yeah, and what's incredible, so this picture is kind of small, but this is from WordCamp Asia, from everybody that was kind of there, and they'll take these photos, and I should have grabbed some from some of the other events, but they try to get every single person that's there in one picture, and you can kind
Wow.
of look them up, like WordCamp group photos, and there's so many people, and it's
Okay.
incredible. So
Okay.
great question.
Cool.
Okay, and then I want to wrap things up by just kind of reviewing some case studies and going over real world examples of customers or businesses that are using WordPress. So the first one that I want to highlight is Listening Tree Books. So Omar and Kimberly Finley are trying to change the world of literature with their children's bookstore, created to represent and evoke the beauty of Black stories through responsible representation. So each book or author that is featured in their store were inspired by their children, who encouraged them to have a variety of educational and inspiration books that Black youth could connect with. They've said that their favorite aspect of business ownership is banking on themselves and coming up with real solutions to existing problems. For example, there is a wealth gap that cannot be closed unless people in their community become leaders of industries and constant innovators. So they created the Young Entrepreneurs Program to give children the education and tools to become industry leaders and innovators through one of the many things that drive the world's markets, which is entrepreneurship. And they've said that their website plays the key role in allowing people from all over the world to explore the materials and solutions at the Listening Tree. And their website helps them to quantify and analyze the growth of their business and give them an accurate picture of what people are buying, so they have an idea of what to invest in the future. And they've stated that 50% of their business is online, which is an incredibly inspirational example of a website powered by WordPress. The next is Bucha Brewers, which is a kombucha brewing business that offers brewing kits to customers. And this company was inspired by Christy Burrett, who wanted to try kombucha without the expensive store-bought price, and came up with a subscription kind of model from a customer of hers who requested a subscription for sugar and tea for her future kombucha brews. So they offer subscription ingredients and recipes that arrive at the customer's doors once a month, ensuring that they have what they need to brew for that month. On the business side, their company can forecast revenue and product demand based on their subscriber counts, helping them come up with a better plan for the month ahead. And Chrissy said, before building a website, it's essential to familiarize yourself with what you want to build, some online tutorials, resource, and limit your coding knowledge by using what's available out there with full site editing, and choosing the suitable theme and building your website with your content in mind. They've also stated that their website is essential to making their e-commerce store possible and providing a place to share both recipes, brewing knowledge, and business information with customers, and say that it serves as the heart of business, bringing the delicious flavors of kombucha right into the home. East Dallas CrossFit was created in 2011, where Ryan Savard, Chase Heckerdorn, and Ben Odeski founded East Dallas CrossFit as a functional strength and conditioning gym that challenges people to crush their fitness goals. On their site, it's pretty awesome. They offer specialized trainings like private prep courses and master classes for things like ages 60 and older, where they said that they couldn't find really the resources for people like their parents. And they've got their shop, they've got their blog, they've got a membership section, all of this built with themes and plugins that make it possible for them to take their business model and take what they saw was missing out there in the world and bring it to people, making it available. And it was said, it's very meaningful to know that my job is to wake up every day at 4 a.m. and help change people's lives, and keeps me motivated to be making a positive impact on the people who attend our gym. And again, they do this through getting their members and their services, getting in contact with them to start their training journey. And then the next two are much larger businesses. So from Pixels to Planets, NASA just launched its new NASA.gov website on WordPress, which replaced Drupal as their CMS. It was a multi-million-dollar project that began with 18 months of active web development, data migration, and content building. Lone Rock Point, which is a WordPress.com VIP Gold Agency partner, led the project, which involved first a year of UX design and an evaluation of various enterprise CMSs. The project ended up supporting 456 CMS users, just about 70,000 migrated pages, and they built over 3,000 new landing pages. The block-based authoring approach of Gutenberg, or the full site editing, was chosen for its flexibility, user-friendly nature, customizability, their security, and scalability. So they said that WordPress really stands out from other CMS platforms due to its access of the resources, plugin ecosystem, and ease of use. The integration of the NASA WordPress site with NASA's image library at images.nasa.gov is an example of how open source capabilities can be implemented, which is really cool to check out. Another great thing is that NASA invested into WordPress block editor, where we mentioned open source, anybody can contribute. They created 55 custom editor blocks to help their website authors share their discoveries, tell their stories. They created hands-on training and working session to build pages in real time alongside users, and created an online knowledge base. They'll be open sourcing some of its custom blocks that they created and other pieces of their project to give back to the WordPress community as part of the roadmap. So to me, this completed project really stands out as a high-profile testament of the agency's confidence in the block editor and the wider ecosystem of WordPress and the available tools out there. And last that I wanted to call out is whitehouse.gov. So whitehouse.gov has been using WordPress since 2018, and in 2021, the site was relaunched on WordPress. My audio gave out for a second. Sorry, I had to reconnect. So they switched from Drupal to WordPress in 2017, and the technologists that were working with the Biden administration decided to stick with the same CMS WordPress. And one of the main things for them was not only the flexibility, the ease of use, but the accessibility was a huge thing in mind. When we talk about accessibility, we're talking about the website being available for people of all walks that may have disabilities, maybe, they're blind, or, different languages, or, maybe it's people that are trying to access websites that, they just need a little bit more. Maybe they need text to speech and things like that. But for them, that was really important. And they have an accessibility statement that says, this commitment to accessibility for all begins with this site and our efforts to ensure all functionality and all content is accessible to all Americans. So that was the last great site that I wanted to kind of call out as being built on WordPress. So in conclusion, for me, there is no limit of what can be accomplished when you combine curiosity with creativity. Really, to me, asking a question and working hard to find that answer and to dive in is one of the great things about WordPress, is how many resources are available and how creative the community is. Innovation is the key to unlocking a world where anything is possible. It drives us forward, and the only limit is the expanse of our imaginations. So ask questions, be curious, get creative, dive in and see what you can build. Join those forces, and not only will you have amazing results, you can create some beautiful, breathtaking things and create experiences that enrich our lives and the lives of others. So let's continue to dream, create, and co-create as a community a wonderful masterpiece for the world on WordPress. Thank you. And then that's it. Question and
Jocelyn,
answer
thank you.
time.
That was fantastic. Couple of questions are drifting in. If anyone else has a question, please use the question box to add it. You added that, you have that slide about WordPress security, and I I'll admit I've been to a few conferences where other organizations have stood up and talked about what they do and around digital presence, and the comment has been made, I've seen it a few times, about WordPress lacking in security. Is there addressing this or improving their security a recent thing, or has it always been good and it was just a misunderstanding of what they did? Or could you talk about, was there a point at which they improved things, or was it always good and people were just pointing out something that wasn't true?
No, I think it's probably pointing out something that wasn't true. They, like I mentioned
Mm,
before, their security team takes security extremely serious. And what you hear about the security is typically not about, excuse me, about WordPress itself, but again,
uh-huh.
it's often themes and plugins that are built, and again, because it's open source, it can be built by anybody. And say for example, I built my website 5 years ago. I installed a theme that I thought was amazing and beautiful, had high reviews, and the developer moved on. Maybe they're not updating it. Maybe they're not
Right.
releasing security patches or fixes. And if
Hmm.
I'm not making sure that my theme, my plugins, etc., are up to date and receiving those updates and are, kind of being monitored by the developers, then that can lead to security issues and vulnerabilities. Um,
Hmm.
but I will say that most of the offers, like I said, they're serious about it too, right? They want high ratings. There's a reason that they're
Of
contributing.
course.
They don't want to have, vulnerabilities or malware or anything there. So I do think that you do have to make sure that you are keeping those things in mind, and why I mentioned before what to look for in those plugins and themes, are that they're
Right.
active, updated, and regular.
Okay, so there's another, the whole community thing seems to have gotten some response. Someone asked, what's your favorite part about being a member of the WordPress community? What's the best part of it?
Oh, I have built so many friendships in the WordPress community. And it's been
Hmm.
really fun. As I've gotten to know people, I've been able to host on podcasts, previously, and there's, it's just incredible and it's so powerful. So, Michelle Frechette, she's a name that you'll hear in the WordPress community. She does incredible things at WordCamps, where she'll say, if you take a selfie with me and tag me on Twitter with a specific hashtag, I will donate X amount of money to sponsor an attendee to another future WordCamp that may otherwise not be able to make it. And her and I met her in Asia at the beginning of this year, and her and I text all the time. Like, we're friends, and outside of that too is I know that after I've met some people, if I have a question or I may not understand something, because there's a lot that I do know about WordPress, but I don't know everything. I know I
Hmm.
can ask that question and I'm not going to have any judgment thrown my way. It's very much like open arms,
Okay.
join us and let us help you understand. So it's really non-judgmental, and
So there are no stupid questions in the WordPress community.
no, no, just the
Okay,
ones that aren't
that's great.
asked.
Okay, right. And kind of shifting back to AI, could you talk a little more about where AI is coming into just the process of creating websites? I mean, at Locology, we've had conversations about this on our podcast and other places about how, all the things that kind of got in the way of people producing a website, creating the content, doing the writing, all these things. AI is kind of stepping in. Could you talk a little bit about how AI, just a little more broadly about how AI is changing the process?
Oh gosh, I think that it enables you to take an idea or an inspiration and transform it into a full-on product, a full-on service, a full-on website. For example, I myself, I'm not a great writer. I have a lot of thoughts, but oftentimes
Uh,
my thoughts get very jumbled, and I'm a lot better at speaking than I am about documentation or writing things. And in the past, I've had, I'll write something out and I'll send it to a friend, and maybe if they're available, they'll, be able to edit it for me. And I think with AI, you can really be like, help me make this more cohesive, or
so AI
read,
is that friend now.
it is, right, and it's on demand, right? I don't have to make sure
Uh-huh.
that they're not like putting their kids to bed, or like, I
Right,
don't know, they're
right.
sleeping or at work. And um, with that, and then again, there's so much site generation that's happening and has happened in the past with AI, where you can quickly type in what your business is about, and you'll get a full page or even multiple pages that are generated that say, how does this look? And you can say, oh yeah, it looks great, but maybe tweak it a little bit, like change it to be more this tone, or change these colors. And really just with a few answers, there's so much that can be built for you, and then you just go in and you fine tune it.
Right. And also, choosing a business name is a new thing that AI is doing, as I understand it,
Yeah,
which was kind of interesting to me. Yeah.
I mean, there's been tools around for a couple of years where you can put in some keywords, like I could say Jocelyn's vet training, I don't know, put whatever, and they'll
Yeah.
come up with combinations. But I think as AI is adapting and shifting, it can do more as far as saying like availability of both like domains plus social handles plus, maybe SEO keywords, different things like that. And it is really cool. Creating a business name is hard. It's like, naming a child, it's forever.
Well, I think AI is going to name our children from now on, but we'll see about that. Okay, I think we're running pretty close to the end of the hour, so I'm going to hand it back to Dara.
All right. Thank you so much, Charles.
Been a pleasure.
Thank you, Charles, and thank you, Jocelyn. And thank you to the Bluehost team. Great discussion, great questions. Thank you so much for putting together this webinar. A few more items from Locology before we end today's webinar. We are just a few weeks away from Place 2023 in NYC, New York City, Times Square on November 7th. You can purchase tickets on the Locology site. Just navigate to events and Place 2023. We would love to have you there. It's going to be a great day filled with awesome discussions, great speakers, and a fun after party as well. You'll be able to view today's broadcast along with previous webinars on our website, locology.com. Just navigate to research and resources, and then navigate to webinars. And again, that will be up within the next 24 hours. Thank you so much for joining us today. Please be sure to visit locology.com and subscribe for updates to be first in the know about future events and webinars. Have a great day, everyone.